everyone. I'm Frank Mallicoat. I'm an anchor reporter for KTVU Fox 2 here in the San Francisco Bay Area. Our guest owns a boutique travel agency in the greater Boston area. It's called Luxury Destination Travel. She specializes in destination weddings, among other things. Let's say hi to a good friend, Linda Mitchell. How are you?
Hi, Frank. How are you? Thank you for having me on.
Well, it's great to have you. Let's talk travel, but first, tell us about luxury destination travel. How did it get started, and what exactly do you do?
So, luxury destination travel actually got started about 20 years ago, originally as Bermuda travel. I was in corporate travel for a good 10 years, working with VIPs throughout at corporate on sites throughout the Boston area. My daughter and son-in-law decided they wanted to get married in Bermuda well before destination weddings were even on the books. And I found myself without a job, sadly, as of September 11th, when corporate travel offices closed down and travel changed completely. So in planning their wedding and knowing Bermuda and having gone there, and seeing that we were anticipating and had 85 guests, I came up with the idea to actually start my own travel agency and specialize in special trips, but mostly for people traveling for destination weddings. And that was 20 years ago, and it was a pretty successful niche idea, I'll tell you. So
I guess so. Well, we actually met in an airport on the way to Bermuda, so I know you know that island oh too well. Let's talk about COVID-19 because travel's virtually been shut down. People are afraid to jump on planes. And of course, you got to get on a plane to get to Bermuda or the Caribbean, which you know very well. How has the pandemic affected your business?
So along with the entire travel industry, of course, it did shut down completely. And interestingly enough, a lot of what happened and is happening and going to happen does parallel back to 9/11, when everything shut down in terms of travel and things changed. And so really how it has affected the entire travel industry is, of course, all destinations were shut down, travel was shut down. So we were pretty much closed down completely. Business canceled entirely throughout the year of 2020, and still people are really scared to travel into 2021. So we're still kind of playing around and waiting and seeing. So the important thing is that as much as it has affected the travel industry, is the fact that the travel industry is doing everything that it can to make sure that me, myself in particular, are set up now as trusted travel professionals that are going to really be able to help you with a lot of elements that you can't get help with online and that you never really had to focus on before. And that's what are the airlines doing in terms of penalties and credits, and what are hotels doing when they used to have big long cancellation policies, and particularly in the beginning, I had to work fiercely for clients that had very expensive vacations and that had very strict cancel policies that they weren't going to get their money back. So there's a lot of different areas that we have to focus on right now. We have to focus on what we had for business, what's canceled, what's moving forward, the unknown, but being that travel professional for our clients so that they can come to us no matter what. If they're traveling, things may happen, and they need to know every single particular restriction in terms of their travel. You can't just go and buy a ticket and get on a plane anymore.
Yeah, that's true. How about weddings? Are people still going to you to plan a wedding, or did a lot of that fall by the wayside with the pandemic too?
So some of it did. I do still have, luckily, I do still have some smaller weddings that are the end of this year and into early 2021. Those are pretty much stateside of those weddings. I also have a wedding that's going to be happening in September of 2021. So what's happened is the couples that either postponed their weddings completely or did a smaller ceremony and now want to have a bigger celebration are looking into 2021 a little bit towards the mid to the end in anticipation that, we're going to be able to travel and do this again because listen, beautiful wedding celebrations are always going to happen no matter what. And it's just a matter of shifting and making it happen for these couples.
You can't stop love, right?
You can't stop. No, you can't stop love. Absolutely.
I guess not. Now, I know your business started in Bermuda because your daughter was married there in '02, and you've done countless weddings there. And you do other islands, the Caymans throughout the Caribbean, Hawaii. I'm just curious about Bermuda. I've been there a bunch of times. How are they faring? Because it's a very small island and it's all about tourism there and bringing people there. And if folks aren't going there, that island must be suffering a little bit.
Yeah, well, what happened, Frank, particularly on the Caribbean islands, was they got really, really protective very early. So they shut down really early to protect their bubble. And so that really worked out well for many of the islands. So Bermuda was one of them. They did shut down. They have infrastructure in place to help their people, knowing that tourism is one of the number one revenue streams for the island. And so, and then the other thing that they did and other islands did was they immediately put into place, once their quarantines were done, which they did, they put into place a lot of staycations. So people that couldn't even leave the island to go and do vacations when they normally would, they put into place packages at the different hotels and dinners and events and different things that they could do so that they could enjoy the island. So, like everywhere, everybody's managing as best that they can, and it's going to be a matter of shifting so that we can come out of it. But Bermuda is one of the first destinations to actually open. Bermuda, Jamaica was another one to actually open and have it be a safe place in terms of the entry requirements. And their entry requirements are actually not too bad. I mean, you have to do a COVID test within 72 hours of traveling there. You have a form that you have to fill out, a travel advisory form that you pay $75 and it covers a test when you get onto the island. And then if you're there for more than 4 days, they'll email you, depending on how long you stay. After 4 days, you do another test and another test. And so it is I'm going next week. I've already planned it all and it is easy. The most difficult part is, really determining where is your safe place in terms of, do you want to stay at a villa? Do you want to stay at a guest house? Do you want to stay at a regular hotel? Where's your safe place? And also flights. Flight schedules are not what they used to be. They used to be.
Yeah, well, we talked about that off camera. I know a lot of airline employees about to be laid off here October, first week of October, because they didn't get that stimulus. I think the government gave them 20 billion back in April to kind of keep them afloat. Some flights are starting to be postponed altogether or canceled. Is it tough to get down to the Caribbean and Bermuda now?
So you have to shift a little bit more than you normally would. So right now, Bermuda, the nonstop, say from Boston, me wanting to take a nonstop, they're only on Saturdays and on Tuesdays. However, there's connecting flights. So the convenience might not be there as much as it was before, but it's there. And I mean, here's the other thing with the airlines, which is it's sad because it's just circling around is, they didn't get the stimulus package. The employees are getting laid off, which is devastating. But as a result, people can't, all of them can't fly and go on vacations because their financial stability is so it's affecting everybody all the way around. And then if they start pulling more flights, the people that can travel aren't going to travel, for that reason. So sadly, it's a big circle right now.
What about incentives? Is it cheap to get to the Caribbean, to Bermuda? Because I know flights here on the West Coast Southwest, $39 will get you pretty much anywhere from Seattle to, Mexico.
Yeah, have your low cost carrier who's a smart carrier like Southwest that always has that ability.
Mhm.
They've managed since they've been in business to really have a really smart plan in place. So yeah, they're able to do that. I think the biggest misunderstanding that people will have in terms of travel is, oh, they must really want us to travel or really want us to go there, and so they're going to make it cheap. Well, it's not, because of the fact that there are so many fewer flights. There's so much more involved in terms of, the wellness procedures, the cleaning procedures they have to put in place, and the same with the hotels. And so, no, I mean, they're not giving it away because they really can't. They really have to still, there's so much more that they have to cover now. But that being said, find a good travel agent and they can find you a good deal.
There you go. Plug away, Linda. Well done. Well done. Well, this plays right into your wheelhouse too. What advice would you give to people that would like to get away, that are sick of their four walls in their house and would like maybe a tropical destination, but they're worried about everything? What would you say to them?
Well, I would say on the downside, yeah, there is that worry. And one of the worry factors is what will that destination do for me when I'm there if I were to get COVID? Okay. So one, you have to make sure that your insurance is covered. This is kind of off the subject, but that you have insurance covering you if you're in an international destination where they don't take your insurance, that you have some sort of insurance that's covering you. And also what will happen. Jamaica has a plan in place where they have a private jet service that will take their guests out and to fly them home should they get COVID, because you can't get on a plane. So those are things to absolutely think about. At this time, it's looking at each individual and how it works. You really need to do more of a long-term vacation. So if you're looking for, say, like a 3 or 4 night getaway, it really isn't the smartest move right now to try and go to the tropics or go out of the country. We have so many beautiful places in the United States.
Yeah.
Key West is just lovely, and you can get just as beautiful a tropical feel down there. And I'll tell you, all of the Keys, there's some really amazing, amazing properties there. So, there's ways to get that vacation done without necessarily right at this time traveling out of the country, unless you're willing to put up with what you need to do that.
Are you hopeful that this shall pass like everything else?
Listen, having been through, I mean, sitting at a corporate desk with, I was in at the corporate office of Stribright Corporation, where we had, people traveled around the globe. I was putting people around the globe almost every day. And sitting at that desk the day 9/11 happened and trying to figure out what was going to happen with my travelers, and then seeing the changes that were made. At the time, if we said you're going to have to take off your shoes and your coat and go through security and tell people what we go through, what we do now, and it's normal, people would have been like, are you serious? Oh, no way we're going to have to do that. And they couldn't even anticipate traveling again. People couldn't anticipate getting on a plane again, the fear factor. So what will happen is, hopefully, when things quiet down and this is under control, is that yes, there are, and there already are, new plans put in place for what you have to do. And if you just kind of think of, hey, you already went through it, most of you, in terms of 9/11, and it's natural for us, that's what's going to become the norm for traveling again.
Yeah, we're just going to have to get used to it. We all
Yeah.
need to get away, that's for sure. And if people want to get away and get in touch with you, Linda Mitchell, tell our viewers how they do that.
Well, I am, my website is www.luxurydestinationtravel.com. And I work with travelers all over the world to go anywhere around the world they'd like to go. I work with wedding couples to work with them, plan where they're going to have their destination wedding, and then give VIP top level service to their guests. One thing about using a travel professional is that we can help you navigate through today's environment in terms of what's happening, but also what will happen tomorrow, but also just to make sure that everything that's done for you is perfectly planned out so you have an absolutely fabulous travel experience.
Well, there's no one better than you. She is the owner of Luxury Destination Travel. Her name is Linda Mitchell, a dear friend, and we want to thank you for joining us here on Fox. Thank you so much.
So can I also say social
You
media
may.
is a big thing. So I'm on Facebook at Luxury Destination Travel, and I'm on Instagram, same at Luxury Destination Travel. So follow me because I love posting ideas and pictures and beautiful photos. So travel with me over social media until you can actually travel with me physically in real time.
You're the best, Linda. Want to thank you very much.
Thank you for having me
All
on.
right.
Really appreciate it.
Oh, I think I lost your audio there, but I'm Frank Mallicoat. If you want more information, you go to newsnowfox.com. Have a great day, everybody.